It's a big victory for environmentalists in Aarey forest. Supreme Court has directed the Maharashtra government not to cut more trees in Mumbai's Aarey forest. Maharashtra government's counsel Tushar Mehta has assured Supreme Court that henceforth no trees will be cut. The next hearing will be heard on the 21st of October. Supreme Court has also asked that activists who were arrested should be released. In case those are still not released, shall be released immediately, is what assured Solicitor General Tushar Mehta. Supreme Court also asked to include Union Environment Ministry a party. Supreme Court orders that status quo should be maintained regarding felling of trees at Mumbai's Aarey colony. The Supreme Court has asked that the activists, who were arrested should be released, and in case those are still not released, shall be released immediately, is what Solicitor General Tushar Mehta has assured. But there, it's a big victory for the environmentalists there, as Supreme Court has now directed the Maharashtra government not to cut more trees in Mumbai's Aarey forest. There were massive protests witnessed in the past as well over the cutting of trees. Well, it's just an interim stay yet, and one can say that it's a big victory for the environmentalists as they were fighting against the cutting of trees. Devi Goenka, in fact, environmentalists, joins me from Mumbai. Thank you, Devi, first of all, for talking to News 9. It's a big victory for all of you who were protesting. Of course, the environmentalists, Supreme Court has now directed not to cut more trees in Aarey forest. Your quick reaction on it first.
No, I'm delighted that the Supreme Court has stayed the cutting of trees, and I hope that this becomes a permanent stay and not just a temporary stay. And I hope that government will also reconsider its decision to cut the trees. And I hope a solution can be worked out where we have the metro and a car shed which does not involve destruction of trees. There are alternative sites available, and if the government is willing to look at these alternative sites, it could be a win-win for everybody.
Okay. Devi, is there no way out without cutting trees given the massive protests that, we witnessed taking over it in the past?
Well, as I said, there are alternative sites available for the
car
shed.
So what are the what are those ways?
Nobody is objecting to the metro. We are saying that why can't you locate the car shed at a place where tree cutting is not involved? And there were 8 different options suggested earlier. And I think even out of the 8, 2 or 3 are still viable and possible.
Okay. So, many of the environmentalists who were arrested should be released. That's what Supreme Court has said. And also, of course, as I mentioned, that it's a big victory for all of you who were protesting, but it's just an interim stay. Supreme Court has asked them to maintain a status quo until next hearing that will be taken up on the 21st of October.
Yes, so as I said earlier, if this temporary stay is made permanent, that will be a great victory. It will also give us time to, if the government is willing to sit down and talk with them about alternatives. Please do remember that there are about 7 different metro projects being implemented in the city at the moment, and all of these require car sheds. And one of the questions that has not been really addressed by the government is why can't infrastructure projects share resources and car sheds and so on instead of building their own separate whatever, I think that is possible and doable. It will save a lot of heartburn. It will be a win-win for both government, environment, and for the citizens of the country.
Devi, talking about the film industry, of course, Bollywood here, it appears that it's a divided house when it comes to, Aarey forest issue. Here, we've seen several of the environmentalists also hitting out at the actors for not coming out in large numbers in support of, of course, the environmentalists who have been protesting over it for quite some time now. So what sort of support is it that the environmentalists, as in you, are demanding from the Bollywood industry?
No, I personally am not demanding any support from Bollywood, but I think this is a very great positive sign that at least some Bollywood stars are coming forward and expressing their views on protecting the environment. But I think what I like the most is the fact that the public has spontaneously mobilized itself to come and protest on the street I think that by itself is a great, great victory. And I hope we see more signs of public protest and more frequent public protests happening. I think that is really the great sign of democracy, that people can still come out and do their thing.
Devi, do you believe that any sort of politics is being played over it? Because, BJP is in favor of cutting trees, but Shiv Sena is against it. And, considering that assembly elections are just fast approaching, so one party is against it, but one is in favor.
So I don't know why there is a huge disconnect within the BJP. The Prime Minister talks about protecting the environment at the UN. So his environment minister talks about how good it is that the High Court has agreed for the cutting of trees. And at the local level, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra does not even want to talk to the environmental groups and have a discussion on the metro. So I don't know what is going on within the BJP. As far as the Shiv Sena is concerned, they control the municipal corporation, and it is the municipal corporation that has given permission to cut the trees. So there again, what the politicians are up to is a huge question mark. I personally don't trust politicians because I know they're very, very fickle. They keep changing their minds, and you can never rely on a politician at such points.
Okay. Thank you very much, Devi, for joining us with all of those insights.